So Seleucid is going to control over to Babylon into this northern area up into Asia Minor. And he's going to want to get down into here. Ptolemy is going to control Egypt and Judah. And so we begin tonight on page 152, again for the third time I've had you turn there. And there's your list of kings on that other map, the kind of the map I've got drawn here. And the land ravaged by wars is kind of there in the middle, circled right in here. It's going to have, the next 200 years, are going to have war back and forth through this land. And again, you can kind of see the list of kings there. It's going to be hard to follow once again. But here we go. The first Syrian War is year 274 to 271 on your books right there. The first Syrian War, and we've now got Ptolemy II. And he's going to be facing Antiochus I up here. And in this battle right here between the first Syrian War, about 3 years, Ptolemy II is going to lose the Syrian coastland. So the Seleucid control is way over here, but this coastland right here is very important because it gives him access to the Mediterranean Sea and the Western world. Ptolemy is going to gain control of this, but as the wars continue, he's going to lose it. So the two places we're fighting over right now is who controls the bridge, Judah, and who controls this coastline. And as this war goes, it's going to end up being lost by Ptolemy, but regained in this war, and that's what takes place. Now, that's 274 to 271. We are reading in chapter 11 of Daniel. You're going to want to have both these books, and I'm going to kind of read through this together, and you're going to be able to pick these things up maybe.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this, okay, between Malachi and Matthew, there's 400 years of silence, as far as...
Right.
So is this the historical filling in of that period of time?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Except it's silent because the Bible was closed, but before the Bible was closed, Daniel, the angel spoke to Daniel about these years, so it's also prophesied to Daniel 11.
Okay.
So yeah, these verses are not being written after the effects, but they're being written during the life of Daniel, and they're just happening now.
Oh, okay, so Daniel was prophesying what's happening during the 400 years, not eschatology.
Well, both.
Both.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Daniel prophesied, if you want to say prophesied, he spoke about Babylon, with the statue, obviously, all the way through Persia, the Greeks, Rome, through this period, and then apparently on into the future. So
Okay.
Daniel kind of did the whole spectrum. So yeah, that's why these verses they're kind of forgotten verses. People don't really pay much attention. That's why they're hard to teach because they're so obscure. It's not like you've got a lot of, you've heard a lot of sermons on Daniel chapter 11, or the king of the south and the king of the north. But that's why if we get a handle on this, it kind of helps unravel the book eschatologically also. Good question. Okay, here we go. Verse 5. The king of the south will become strong, but one of his commanders, that to be Seleucid, will become even stronger than he, and will rule his own kingdom with great power. After some years, they'll become allies. The daughter of the king of the south will go to the king of the north to make an alliance. Now, this right here is it doesn't make specific reference to the first Syrian war that we talked about, but it does identify the main characters, the Seleucid and the Ptolemies. Now, in 260, the second Syrian war, and we're on the bottom of page 152, Antiochus II tries to reclaim Syrian coast again. So remember, they're fighting over these two areas. Seleucid tries to regain these from from Ptolemy. And a peace treaty, Antiochus II up here, let's go back up here. Antiochus II, stay with me here, okay, just let me mumble through this. Antiochus II tries to reclaim these areas, of course, is defeated. Ptolemy's going to prove stronger here at the first few hundred years, or first 100 years. But he's got a wife, and his wife's name is Laodice. And she's got a son, or she's going to have a son named Seleucid II. Again, these names are not going to go very far from Antiochus or Seleucid. So he's got a wife, Laodice, and a son who's going to be born of her called Seleucid II. But in the peace treaty, Ptolemy II has got a daughter named Berenice. And he says, you know what? As part of the peace treaty, I'm going to give you my daughter. Now, who in their rightful mind would give their daughter to their enemy from another country? Well, someone who's politically astute, because now my grandson's going to be the next king. So Antiochus has to divorce Laodice and marry Berenice, or however you say there. You can see the names written down there, Berenice. I want to say Bernice, but, and that doesn't go over well with Laodice, of course, and she's not got this position just because she's going to just take it without doing something about it. So she poisons Antiochus and he dies. So now what you have is, you've got two moms up here wanting the throne. Laodice, the Syrian wife, and her son, Seleucid II, we should probably write Seleucid II, and Berenice, Ptolemy II's daughter, and she's going to have a son. And now they both want their son to be the king. Now you can see why Ptolemy II did this. Well, Ptolemy II is going to die, and you won't guess what his son's name is. Yes, Ptolemy III. And again, he's actually got, you can see right there, his name is Euergetes, you know, and we're marching through like that. So this is Ptolemy III, and his sister now is vying for the kingship for her son, and Laodice has already killed or poisoned one person. So there we go. That is the way the Syrian War II ends. Now we're already in the year 246, so if you've got your books, you can turn your page there. And the Third Syrian War begins this way, when Laodice, or Bernice says, I'm having trouble with the Syrian wife, or my husband's first wife. Okay, we almost got a soap on. I'm having trouble with my husband's first wife after she killed him. So she sends an email down to her brother Ptolemy and says, can you come up and help me? Sure, he says, because that's what Dad did. He got you up here so we could have a reason we got to claim the throne. So he's on his way up here to help his sister claim the throne for her son. Well, here we go, some information here. He attacks Syria, and he actually takes Antioch for a while. But by the time he gets there, Laodice has killed Berenice and his son. So now Laodice is the Syrian wife. The first wife has claimed the throne for her son Seleucid II. So Ptolemy III's got, are you still with me? Ptolemy III's got no other choice than to declare war on the child, the Seleucid II. Now it sounds good if you just read Ptolemy III declared war on Seleucid II until you find out he's a kid. I mean, he's playing with his Legos and stuff, and you know, you got the whole Egyptian empire coming after him. And so now Laodice and Seleucid II here are at war now with Ptolemy III, and so begins the Third Syrian War. It's fought over that. And in the end, Ptolemy III, due to this, Egypt has moved up, continues to, remember this is what we're all talking about, is Judah, takes Judah, or continues to control Judah, takes the coastline, and there's a city that was put together here by the Seleucid Empire, Antioch, which is going to play real big in the book of Acts. It's going to be where Paul comes from, as far as his ministry is based on. He actually takes and occupies Antioch, so you can see Egypt is extended way up into here. All right, so with that being said, let's go back to the Bible very quickly and read through these verses, and you can pick up some of the ideas here. Chapter 11, verse 6. After some years, they'll become allies, the king of the south and the king of the north. The daughter of the king of the south, Berenice, will go to the king of the north, Antiochus, to make an alliance, but she will not retain her power. Well, because one, her husband gets killed, and he and his power will not last. In those days, she'll be handed over together with her royal escort and her father, and be the one and her father and the one who supported her. And so they're all going to lose their positions. Verse 7. One from her family, that's Ptolemy III, her brother, down in Egypt, will arise to take her place. He'll attack the force of the king of the north, that's Seleucid II, the young child, and enter his fortress. He will fight against them and be victorious. He will also seize their gods, their metal images, and valuable articles of silver and gold, and carry them off to Egypt. So a little bit about the victory, because he occupied again Antioch and went away up in here, took all that stuff, and says, we've got the kingdom now. Basically what Egypt is trying to do is just, they're trying, each of these generals, or these lines of the generals of Alexander, they're trying to rebuild Alexander's empire. And if they just be happy with what they've got, you just rule Egypt, you just rule Syria and Babylon. But it's like, no, I want to be the next Alexander the Great. It's been a plague for generals ever since. They've all want to try to repeat Alexander. It's like,